This video will talk about working with layers, which you'll need. Let's go to the setup wizard. I'm going to skip a lot of the steps, but basically, because we're not going to worry about this opening setup, but I'm going to add some instruments manually this time. Going to woodwinds, I'm only going to add one flute line, one oboe line, and I believe a bassoon line is what I asked. Puts it in orchestral order. If you want to change this, you can do that with arrow keys, but pretty much this should be set up. I can always then add, you need to add your titles and your name on here so that we can recognize who wrote this piece. Set up your key signature and time signature first thing off the bat, whatever it happens to be. Then it will set it up. Again, I like to set mine at 200%. Oops. It's not doing it. I'll go to view and just do it. Sorry. Here we go. We're going to do simple entry. Now the first thing I want to point out is this area in the bottom left-hand corner, and it says layer 1. You can put up to 4 layers. By default, your stems will go up on layer 1, layer 2 is stems down, layer 3 up, layer 4 down. That's just the default settings. You can go back later on and actually manually switch your stem direction, but just remember, for the most part, layer 1 is stems up. Now when I initially put these notes in the flute, you'll see the stems can go up and down because I haven't actually started working in another layer. Now, after I've put in the first instrument in there, and remember, if you use the number pads, it's a lot quicker as far as changing to 8th notes or 16th notes. If you just use the number pad, you can actually do this a lot faster. There. Now, if I want to put the second flute line in, all I have to do is go down to the layer 2, and then when I go back in and start putting notes in, notice all those stems in this measure go up. Same thing here. Right, and the stems are down. You'll notice it's also a different color on the screen, so you can tell which layer you're working in. When you print it out, it'll obviously just all be black notes. Something that we haven't talked about before, if you want rests when you put this in, because you're going to have that kind of an issue, you can highlight a note that way, and if you just press R on the keyboard, oops, sorry about that. Let me do that again. Well, I've screwed it. There we go. Not quite sure what happened with that note. But again, if I just push R, it changes a note to a rest. That's a lot quicker than that, because you will want those rests in there if you just have your second voice is playing these notes and then nothing. You still have to indicate in the layer what's going on. Okay? That's most of it there. There are other ways to do this with speedy note entry, but right now, since we're working with simple note entry, just remember R switches your note to rest, and it should actually move, yeah. And then you can obviously just drag it to the position you want. You notice that this note is slightly, it's not in alignment with this. It should go back to alignment when you print it out. But if you notice it's not, go up to this tool, a simple entry note, and if you go in here, you can actually drag the note underneath that correctly. This is the speedy note entry. And you'll notice layer 1 is grayed out. When I'm working in layer 2, if I go down here to layer 1, then all of a sudden these notes are accessible. And again, I can just drag these notes around up and down pretty easy. This is not the best way. It should just do it automatically, the layout, but it is another option.